Today, I'm pretty sure the plan's a little better for video-wise, but wasn't sure there was going to be anything worth videoing at the time. But we had a little field trip today. About 9 of us all climbed in the van and went up to St. Augustine to see the sights. Started off with stopping at a mellow mushroom pizza place. You know, there's a few, it was a chain, and had to, just start with pizza, and then it was off to the races. It started off at well, first from there, went to the alligator farm. Get lots of plenty of footage of the alligator farm there. Then it was off to big old winery there. I think I don't know if there was St. Augustine or something over winery. I didn't get anything there because there really wasn't much to do. It was just a quick little taking tour. And you see, okay, here's where they keep the wine. Okay, that's nice. A little more wine. So then it was off to, the plan was to hit Ripley's Believe It or Not museum. But as it is, we got on the train and go around and went around town, playing Christmas music and saying happy holidays. Well, let's look at the footage and get back. Just missed the feeding demonstration. This place has got some gators. And, like, they're not very energetic creatures. But some of these guys, if you didn't know any better, there's a bunch of skulkers, but no, real live gators. Shouldn't have the demonstration coming on for too long. This guy shows him laughing. This guy's kind of looking at me. I don't know what he's looking at, but better not be me. So. We got a big one here. Yeah, so far we got some pizza at Mellow Mushroom. Pretty good place, actually. Even though it was just cheese pizza, it was still pretty good. So we got one in your area. Check it out. That's where we're at, St. Augustine. And we got a few other things planned up, so we'll check them out later.
Chance the snapper, an alligator. It was found. It was found in Chicago. Chicago.
And a couple of turtles.
It's from Chicago.
And
then Frank captured it. Frank said it's a 5-star place for alligators.
Obvious reasons these would not last long in the wild.
Oh, nice.
My guide is wearing the crocodile, and that's how blind me on there. Oh, neck of a crocodile. Bloody huge. And that's about the end of my bad Steve Irwin impression. Back to the gators. This guy, I'm not entirely sure what the I think his eyes are actually closed. But those aren't placed right for his eyes. Clearly sleeping. Which is probably for the best around this house.
Down here.
I tap on the glass to show that there's something here, but I don't want to aggravate her anymore. It might already be. Suffice to say.
No lo quiero abierto.
This isn't zoomed in.
Oh, yeah.
I'm taking a bit of a nap here. Start dozing. Those crocodiles, alligators tend to do it most of the day. Some of this food, and they go nuts. A dragon or two. Hi. Yeah, you're being watched.
No. They're bigger, meaner, and faster. They can run a sustained 35 miles an hour.
Well, a male and a female animal, which is just not going to find out.
And this guy's amazing.
Some things as you keep you know, I don't know about.
Page out of their American cousins, and we are working closely with those animals. So if you do want to see our Chinese alligators, you can see them on the far side of our theater over there, hopefully after our show. But American alligators, believe it or not, were
here we go, Magnolia.
At one point in time, isn't that right, Pluto?
God, get in there.
About 100 years ago, were in jeopardy of not being around anymore. But thankfully, thanks some nice, strong breeding efforts that we put forward over the last century. These animals are one of the first to recover from that endangered species status. Now, in the state of Florida alone, we have about 1.2 million alligators alone. So you can imagine these guys are doing fairly well down here. And they don't just live down here in Florida. They have a pretty impressive range in the United States as well. Now, you can find them over into the North and South Carolina areas, as long as finding them along Louisiana and Texas areas as well. These guys can be found up in Alabama, believe it or not. That's actually where they have found the largest American alligator on record. And that animal's about 15 feet 9 inches, so a couple feet longer than any of the animals that we have here in our enclosure. But we do still have some pretty impressive animals in here nonetheless. Now, we do have 2 animals in here that are over 13 feet in length. Those are going to be our 2 large males. And yes, there is going to be differences in sizes between our males and our females. Now, our large males are going to be about 10 feet in length, while our females are going to be about 6 to 9 feet in total length. Our largest animal is actually Bomber, hanging out right here, a little bit over 13 feet in length, with his head poking out over here. Now, it might be kind of hard to tell because he is hiding out in the water over here, but believe me, he is a very, very large animal nonetheless. Even though he's a couple inches short, or a couple feet short of the world record, he's obviously a very, very large animal, especially compared to something like me. But even though he's a very massive animal, he's going to be quite small compared to his ancient ancestors. Now, about 80 million years ago in North America, we had a big giant crocodilian that roamed around. These areas especially called Deinosuchus. Now, Deinosuchus is a big word that translates into meaning terrible crocodile. The reason this animal got the name of terrible crocodile is because the researchers who discovered Deinosuchus were actually looking for some other dinosaurs in the area around the time. Now, they found this great big large crocodilian that was most likely eating a whole lot of the things that they were trying to study, so they thought it was pretty terrible. Over here at the Alligator Farm, we think it's pretty amazing, and if you guys do want to see a replica of a Deinosuchus skull, you can do so over on our GOMEC building on the other end of the park, hopefully after our show. What these guys have lost in size from their ancient ancestors, they've retained in many, many other ways. And to give you guys a good perspective of how much size these guys have actually lost, you can look at my friend Skipper hanging out over here. Now, Skipper is going to be one of our larger males. He's well over 12 feet in length right here. But compared to Deinosuchus, guess what? He's only going to be about a fourth or maybe even a fifth of the size of that total animal. And if you take Skipper all the way down from the tip of his tail right here, down to the end of his nose, you're going to want to stack about 4 or 5 of him in a big straight line. Probably stretches him all the way to that tree over there. And then you're going to want to take a whole lot of weight and actually tack it onto the side of Skipper over here. You're going to get a pretty good example of how large Deinosuchus actually was. Now, thankfully, like I said, we don't have those big, great crocodilians roaming around North America anymore. But you can see we do have our small American alligators here, and they're still pretty impressive nonetheless. And these guys have retained a couple of features from their ancient ancestors. The first thing that I'd like to point out is their appearance. Now, most people that are looking at our alligators are going to think of the word dinosaur oftentimes when they see them, especially if they've never seen them in person before. Now, there's a couple of different reasons that give them that nice prehistoric or dinosaur-like appearance. But the first thing that I like to talk about is this nice skin color that they've got going on here. And most of the time when people look at alligators on TV, cartoons, things like that, they expect them to be what color? Usually green. Now, I don't know why alligators are always drawn green on TV and stuff like that, but as you can see my friend Walker right here, hey Walker, it's going to be much, much smaller, or much darker, excuse me, not smaller. They're going to have this nice dark gray colored skin over here. Then you can see Brooke is using off to hide in the water over here. Now, this nice gray colored skin that you can see on my friend Lockjaw over here is going to help him not only blend into with really, really clean water, it's going to help him thermoregulate as well. Now, nice warm days like we've had today, you'll see a lot of our alligators sitting out like our friends are all over here. Now, this nice skin color is going to help them absorb as much energy as possible because they are cold-blooded individuals. They do rely on their environment in order to regulate their body temperature, control digestion, and all sorts of other fun things. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys have worn a dark colored t-shirt on a nice hot day as opposed to wearing a light colored t-shirt. Felt the differences in temperature there. Same concept goes for our animals down here. Any little advantage that they can take advantage of, they are going to definitely do that if they have the ability to do so.
Hey, baby.
Now, the skin color also helps them blend in with the pool, like I said, and it's going to help them while they are hunting. We'll talk about the hunting behaviors here in a little bit. One other thing that you guys might notice about their appearance that's going to give them that nice dinosaur-like appearance is all these little spiky plates that are going up and down my friend's back right here. Now, these little spiky plates are what we call osteoderms. Osteoderm is a big fancy word that actually translates to meaning bone skin. Now, these little pieces of bone skin that you can see on Bluto's back right here, or any of our other alligators that are sitting over here, aren't part of their skeleton, but they're very important for them nonetheless. Now, those little pieces of bone obviously provide thicker skin than what you or I is going to have. It's going to be very nice armor plating for Bluto, isn't that right? Oh, I can open up a little bit more than that, or I'm going to miss. However, those osteoderms right there have something on them that you guys can't see as well, isn't that right, Bluto? They're going to have lots of veins and blood vessels that are going to run along them. Now, when they're laying out on a nice day like today, all that energy coming down from the sky is going to heat up all of the blood running along our alligator's back over here. It's going to disperse through the rest of his body, and he's going to be able to hold onto that heat until it gets a little bit cooler at night. Fortunately, they have the water over here, and as you can see with our friend right here, when he gets a little bit too warm or cold, he's going to go back into that water, because that water is going to maintain that temperature a little bit more consistently than our ground and air will, especially when the sun is going down. Now, that's okay, because our friend going into the water right here is actually going where he is most comfortable. Now, these animals are great predators while moving through the water. And you can see a couple of different features that are going to make them great predators. Now, with my friend right here, you'll notice that his head is sticking out of the top of the water. Now, on top of his head right here, he's going to have all of his sensory organs sitting there. That's really important because that means that all of our animals can sit on the edge of the pool and wait for something to get a little bit too close. Now you can see with Casey right here that he's got his two eyes sticking out, and also he's got his nostrils right here. But one thing you guys may not notice is behind all of our alligators' eyes, they have those two little slits as well. That's going to be where their ears are located. That's going to be really helpful for them because they can smell, see, and hear everything that's going on along with breathing. Now our alligators do have all these little dots around their mouths as well, and those are called ISOs, little detectors that detect movement in the water that help them find any prey items that might be swimming around near their mouths. So they're going to be able to find pretty much anything that is going to be sitting down here in the water. Now if you get a little bit too close to my friend Casey here, he's probably going to blast out of the water, hey Casey, and grab on to whatever he can get a hold of. And he's got those nice 70 to 80 conical shaped teeth in his mouth right there that are going to grab onto those prey items. And they're going to be shaped a little bit differently than maybe some other predator's teeth, like your shark teeth or your Komodo dragon teeth. These cone-shaped teeth that Casey likes to show off so much are, hey buddy, are going to be used for grabbing onto those prey items and performing that nice big death roll to get himself a good piece of food. Good job. And if he breaks off some of those teeth, don't worry too much about that. He doesn't need any dental bills or anything like that because he's going to continuously shed those teeth. Now Pluto here, if he wants to, is going to go through about 2,000 to 3,000 of those teeth throughout his entire life. Isn't that right, Pluto? Oh, that was my fault. So if he does lose some teeth, don't worry too much about that. He's going to be doing just fine. I know, my hand's off. There you go. Now, one thing that these animals have retained from their ancient ancestors that you guys probably aren't thinking about is their intelligence. Now, I'm sure you've noticed that some of my friends, like Casey here, are responding to their names. Isn't that right, Casey? Now, these names are very, very useful for these animals to learn for a couple of different reasons. Now, it does keep us safe while working with them, but it also allows us to communicate with these animals very effectively. So if I want my friend Hunter to come over here, hey, Hunter, and show off this great big smile, hopefully he can come over here and train if he chooses to do so. Now, this experience down here is a training session. So all of our interactions with our animals down here, we are asking them to perform. Now, they don't have to come over and train if they don't want to. And this relationship that we're building up is great because obviously we can show off Hunter, hey Hunter, and his great big teeth right here for our shows. If he wants to come over, hey buddy. We're able to come down here and work with these guys pretty closely for medical procedures as well. Good job.
Ooh.
As you can see, Hunter here has two of his friends that are interested, but they do know I'm calling on Hunter's name, which helps keep me a little bit more safe, even if they are interested in coming over and working as well. Well, like I said, we have the University of Florida vets come through about once every 2 weeks to check up on these animals. And they can do things like voluntary blood draws or apply medications if we need to make sure these guys are getting everything that they need. Isn't that right, bud? Good job. Now in their brain, like I said, they have a true cerebral cortex, the same part of your brain that is responsible for thinking, learning, and processing that is in human beings. Now Casey here is thinking or getting his name called on. He's using the same part of brain that you guys would be using. Pretty impressive if you ask me. These animals are making conscious decisions and they all have different personalities. Casey here likes to show off a little bit. My friend Pluto over here is usually a little bit more mellow. Isn't that right, Pluto? And that's perfectly okay, because just like people, these guys all have everything they need that's going to be a little bit different from one another. but they are still going to be all alligators nonetheless, and they're going to have some features that they can't avoid. Now, one of our animals sitting on land over here is showing off some of the things that are going to make them extremely powerful swimmers through the water. Now, you can see our little female right here had those little legs carrying her across land. Now, out on land, those legs aren't going to pick her up nearly as high as most people think that they would be, considering this tail is dragging behind her, as you guys can see right there. Now, those legs are extremely good for turning direction in the water from side to side, so they can turn and grab onto something if they need to. On land, like I said, they don't push them off the ground nearly as high as most people would think that they would, so they can't get up to those great big 20, 30 mile an hour sprints that some of you have heard. I'm sure some of you have heard that if an alligator is chasing you, you guys want to run zigzags away from that animal. That's simply not going to be the case. You're actually just going to look silly while running away from it. All of you are going to be faster than an alligator, especially when you're scared running in a straight line. So don't run zigzag or anything like that. You're going to want to run in a very straight line, because these guys have a whole lot of weight that's dragging them down while on land.
Yeah,
now
they
that
don't
big
have
tail that's dragging behind her over there
They're
is
ambushing
about
predators.
200 pounds. Now in the water, that's going to be the motor
They
that
generally
drives them
lunge out of the
forward.
water and
They can
grab you,
actually
but they
blast about
don't
2/3
do
of their
it on
body
land.
length out of a deep pool of water. So Hunter over there, hey Hunter, can jump about 8 or 9 feet out of a deep pool. Isn't that right, bud?
Yeah.
However, in this pool over here, it's going to be a little bit more shallow. He's actually not going to be able to get that great big jump that I was just talking about. But that tail, as you can see, is still driving him forward through the water, and it's going to be responsible for why he's moving towards me right now. Isn't that right, Hunter? And that big head that he's got there is going to weigh about 100 pounds right here, and it's going to work as a streamliner, pushing any debris that might get in his way out of his line of sight, so he can swim pretty fast without worrying about running into much. You want to open up?
Oh my goodness.
Now, when the time is right, Hunter will come along and grab onto those prey items like I was talking about a little bit earlier. And he's usually going to be doing that from the edge of the pool, blasting out using that great big tail that he's got going over there. Now, the reason these guys are going to hunt the water more than land is out on land, they're going to have this great big anchor dragging behind him. Now, I can pick up Skipper's tail for him right here, but guess what? He can't pick it up by himself right there. That's going to be a big refrigerator dragging behind him, essentially. But he does weigh about 600-700 pounds, so the 200-pound weight is not going to slow him down nearly as much as it would slow down you or I. So you do still want to be extremely careful when approaching animals out in the wild. Now, you're actually probably not going to be able to approach most animals out in the wild, because most alligators are going to have a natural fear of human beings. So Casey right here, hey Casey, as excited as he is, would never be that excited if he was a wild animal with no interactions with people. Now, he's very comfortable with us as people. He associates us with food. Good job, Casey. However, out in the wild, he'd be hightailing it the other way. Now, we train with these animals, like I said, we give them top-level medical care, all sorts of other things. But if an animal did this out in the wild, obviously, it'd be extremely dangerous, because the next person who beat that animal would not be expecting to see this great big smile that Casey's got going on there. So if you ever think about feeding an alligator, please don't, because even if you don't have a bad day, the next person who meets that animal most definitely will, because they're going to lose that fear of human beings that they've had throughout their entire life. Now, sometimes our animals get a little bit feisty. Like you can see right there, that's perfectly okay, because they got those nice big osteoderms protecting them. Now our friend over here, hey buddy, is going to be an extremely great hunter. Now, I did mention this a few times earlier. The reason they're going to be such great hunters is because they're only going to need one good snap to get basically whatever's going to be near their mouth. Now these animals have the strongest bite force in the animal kingdom. And that's going to come down to about 2,000 to 3,000 pounds of force every time they snap down those jaws. Now that might not sound like a whole lot of force to some of you guys, but let me put that in perspective for you all. Hunter here is about a 13-foot alligator, like I said a little bit earlier. Hey Hunter. Now if he wants to snap down his jaws right here, he's got a pretty good amount of distance that he can snap down on you with. Now the force is going to be about the same force as a small pickup truck coming back and forth in a very compact area, about the size of Hunter's snout right here. So whatever he decides to snap down on, most likely will not be getting out unless he chooses to let it go. Same thing with our little females here. But that is going to be my last fact for the day, so thank you all very much for coming out to the St. Augustine Alligator Farm. We've been dedicated to the highest standard of animal care, conservation, and education for the last 125 years. By coming here today, you are supporting that, so thank you all very much for doing so. Our last show of the day is going to be a Scales and Tails program over at our theater. Now we are going to be learning about some of our animals that are not our crocodilians. This is going to be our last crocodilian show of the day, but I hope to see you guys all at our 5 o'clock show. And if not, thank you all very much for coming to our zoo and have a great rest of your day. If you have any other questions that you want to ask me, I'll be out here in a second. But thanks for coming, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, like I said, we didn't get into the museum because one, the line was forever. It was up to 7 o'clock. And I was, me and some of the other guys were ready to keel over as it was. So I was like, yeah, fun time on the train. It was, you know, on the, well, train, it's like car, regular train with a couple of trains, like the tram at Universal Studios. You know, so that was fun. I would like to know more about that castle. I'm going to look that up. You know, the San Marcos, Castillos de San Marcos. You know, St. Augustine is like the oldest city in North America. From, you know, there's just foreign settlers. I'm gonna apply just when the Spaniards got here, versus when my family got here. I think there's maybe a 100-year difference, but you know, I'm gonna look into that. But yeah, it was fun. Next time probably we will get into the museum. I think probably just make that a priority instead of all the other run around. It was fun, and there are some. That's good to finally get some charities that do take care of the vets in some way. Once again, we got a lot of food thrown at us. I got a lot of presents over the Christmas holiday. I got some clothes. None of them fit, but what I get for not, you know, remembering my sizes properly. But we got a lot of, and also I'm taking care of myself too, a little, probably too much. But it'll set, you know, in some ways it'll set us up well when we finally get out of here. After the first of the year, the holidays are gone. I'm gonna get a hold of the VA. So second thought, I think we will take advantage of that. You know, housing assistance, get set up somewhere at least for a while we wait for the settlement. Once the settlement's, then we can deal with that mess. But for now, yeah, I think we can probably settle in for a while. Anyway, after that, I got the beginnings of an unboxing video for Saturn V model I picked up, and I've got more materials for it, so I'll work into that and start doing a model building series. Because I wanted to challenge myself, and not just the usual Star Trek models, because I could have gotten another Enterprise. But no, this time it's the same old model making since 1968, the Saturn V, 1/144 scale. And this should be interesting. I throw a few Amy Shearer title her way for some pointers, because she's built this model over and over again. Check out, she's got a series of videos doing the Lego version of this. And it took like two or three videos just to do the first stage. That thing was monsters. But that's another issue. Anyway, PayPal, Patreon down below. We're really going to start hitting for more patrons, because we got 2 patrons right now, guys, okay? And I have since added a $1 level. If you just want to occasionally throw a buck my way, I think get a bunch of you guys to do that, it would help a lot. Because again, it's a nice place, but it's still, you know, a shelter. You know, it's, you know, and unlike most shelters, I got all the time I need to finally get my life straight and get going, but I would like to get it going, and that's where you guys come in, because YouTube is doing creators no favors lately. I lost I don't know, maybe about 20 subscribers in the last little purge there. I mean, Doomcock lost like 500 or 5,000. It's a big chunk. But yeah, I mean, like, subscribe, share the videos around, but also hit the links down below. PayPal, Patreon, and the other ones down below. And it'd be nice, you know, because we got like 2 patrons. Okay? They're doing like $10 a piece, guys. Come on. It's lightening some of the load on these guys. And as always, the mailbox, which I'll be checking Monday, because a couple things came in there. Captain Robert April, 4046 North Goldenrod Road, number 115, Winter Park, Florida, 32792. If we get the housing thing, I'll be moving that up here to Daytona Beach, because that's a 50-mile drive down to get just to check the mail. And we will talk at you later.